I think we look back now on that segment with DX making fun of the Nation of Domination in a really different way.
Yeah.
Was there any trepidation at that time when that segment was being pitched?
No, and you know, there's been a lot of stories out there. I can tell you that none of us had any big concern about it. In retrospect, we could have done that segment without the blackface, and you know, I wish we had of.
And it would have been the same.
It would have been just as good.
Yeah.
I obviously I wish we'd have changed that. We didn't. You know, looking back on it in 2022 eyes, not a fan of it. But in 1997, 98 eyes, it was a way of getting these two factions to war, because we knew that both of our factions were, I use the term, over enough or connected with the fans enough that we could, you know, go out there and draw money and fill some houses with it, and put up some ratings on TV. And then we look at the individual matchups that we could have, you know, and that's what piqued our curiosity. And I think people look past the obvious elephant in the room.
Well, I think that even if it was just a few years later when WWE became a public company, that segment would have not even been like brought up.
You couldn't pitch that idea 3 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't even, you'd get laughed out of a building. You pitched that idea 3 years later.
That's what you said about the segment would have been the exact same without blackface. It's so true.
It is so absolutely true. If there was never any blackface, you would have never known the difference, and it would have been just as entertaining. I mean, that whole segment was DX entertaining everybody, and they could have done that easily, just, you know, without the blackface.
Yeah, and like, you definitely could not do that.
No.
At all. But you brought up off camera, and it's so interesting, like Robert Downey Jr. In Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Which, in the context of the film, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because he's an actor playing a role, and the actor in the role he's playing is of an actor who's playing another role.
I'm a dude playing a dude
who's playing a dude.
Yeah.
And it's convoluted, and
that was 2008.
Yeah.
Nominated for an Oscar the next year, which, look, that was an incredible performance.
It was a great, I mean, also, I remember that when he finally, you know, you saw his blue eyes for the first time, it was like, holy hell.
Yeah.
Holy hell, it's really him under there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously that character couldn't have existed without blackface, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the idea there was he had dyed his pigment of his skin.
He had dyed the pigment of his skin and done something to his hair, so he wasn't blackface, he was actually dark-skinned.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's, you know what? I'm glad I don't have to worry about pitching that creatively to anybody.
Yeah, and I'm sure people bring that Nation thing up to you all the time.
Oh, yeah, I get it all the time. I get people looking at it with 2022 eyes going, were you mad? Were you angry? Well, today I am, but in 98, 97, 98, I'm not. I wasn't. I was, like I said, we're just trying to create a good segment.
Is it also because of the speed at which, you know, television wrestling works? Like, you're creating those segments, writing the show each week, and then you're probably not getting the script till, what, day before, day of?
If you were lucky back then, you know, some guys would get it 2 or 3 days ahead of time. Some guys would get it day of. Some guys would get it, you know, as they're walking to the ring.
Yeah.
So it was a different time. Thankfully, we don't live in that time anymore, and I'm glad we're here today.
Yeah.
But, you know, once again, I wish we can go back and retro book it and do it a different way.